Okay, doing a technical drawing for a basic shift dress. So what we're working on this week is relatively similar to what we've been working on up until now. A lot of it is very close to the tank top, actually. It's just longer and more fitted, except that we're going to be working with princess lines for the first time today. And you'll see in my demo, I'm going to do a curved princess line coming out of the armhole, and then I'm going to do a straight one up and down all the way on the body on the back. And so first of all, I'm going to set up my document, file new, create, file place. Click and drag that into position. Head over to your layers, lock it, and create a new layer. So we're ready to do our drawing. I'm going to start center front as always. I'm going to click out to the shoulder, out, out. I'm going to click and curve as I draw this time. One point in and then back out again. Down to the waistline, click and pull. Head out to the hip line, click and pull. So I'm getting a nice curve as I'm drawing this time. I'm going to take this just a bit above the knee for this dress. Head over to center front, and you will see I get that little pink line showing up saying I am right below the point up above. I hit escape. I disengage the pen. I'm going to, I don't know. Here we have a curve on the neckline. I'm going to use the convert tool for that. And we are ready to roll to create our, I need to get that out of the way so I can get my black arrow. Create my princess lines. So right now I have a white fill, black stroke. I'm going to turn off my fill. And the only tricky thing about this is Illustrator, for some reason, likes to get real picky about, like, if you draw a line near another line, it'll sometimes just delete your points for no reason and cause you all kinds of trouble. So for this one, I'm actually going to move it a little bit away, and then I'm going to come back and move it back in, as you'll see, because if you try to hit right on that line, sometimes it'll do strange things. So for this one, I'm going to move out a little bit. Then I'm going to head into where it is. And these lines that are on the croquis are the lines for your princess line. So they're already there. Generally, it's about halfway between center, front, and the side. Hit escape. So this is just a line, black stroke, no fill. I'm going to come back and move these around a little bit just to get that perfect, which is why Illustrator is so great with the white arrow, because you can move individual points around. This one, I'm going to put a curve on it very slightly. And then finally, I'm going to head up here and move that in and get it right to that side seam. Looking pretty good. Okay. It goes all the way to the bottom. Now, princess lines can go top to bottom. They can originate from the sleeve. The back one I'm going to do is actually going to originate from the shoulder seam. This one could have done that as well, but I'm going to show you two different styles just for demonstration purposes. Okay. I do not know, but I am recording, so you are going to be in my video forever. FYI. Okay. So white fill, black stroke. And I'm going to select that side, double click, copy. So I have two, and move place. White arrow and marquee. I'm doing ClickPad on my Mac. You can do right click on the mouse, join, join. Now you'll notice that when I did that, one of my princess lines disappeared. And That is because when Illustrator created the shape, it put it in front of my princess line for whatever reason. If I go to outline, I can see that the line, it's still there, but it's actually hidden behind my shape. So view preview, view outline can always show you if something looks like it has disappeared. So all I need to do is select my dress block and then arrange send to back. And magically my princess line shows up. Okay, so that's looking good. Then I'm going to move that out of the way because I want to do my back. So I'm going to Control C, Control V, do a couple different things. First of all, oops, I don't want to accidentally change that. I'm going to white arrow, grab my two little points at the neckline, move it up because this is the back neckline, which is higher than the front. I'm going to Control C, Control V it because I want to put it behind the front to get my gray background. So I'm going to arrange send to back. And then I'm going to do a color, whichever gray that you're using for your back of the garments, pop that in there. So then my front is done. I'm going to marquee and group it. And that is ClickPad group or right click on the mouse. And we have, this will now not get separated as I move things around. Okay, now let's work on the back. I know that my shape is fine, but the styling is going to be different on my princess lines for sure. So I'm going to, first of all, take the fill off the back, same way as I did the front. And you can either draw a new line or you can white arrow, grab, oops, make sure you're grabbing the right line. Now it wants to grab the other one. There we go. Make sure that, I'm going to move that up. I want to make sure that I haven't accidentally shifted my dress around too much. There we go. Okay, so I want to white arrow, check for things like where does your line end? You don't want it to break the edge of your body of the garment because that wouldn't make any sense. You also want to make sure things go right to the edge because this would confuse your contractors if you gave them something like that because they would say, what do they want me to do here? So if it's a seam that is fabric to fabric, make sure that you don't go over or you don't go under. It's clear, and that hard line shows this is one piece of fabric being connected to another piece of fabric. Okay, once I've got something I like, rather than try to eyeball the other side, I'm just going to copy side number one. I mean, I suppose I could leave a crazy design like this, but I'm going to delete that. I'm going to select my original, and I'm going to do the reflect and copy. Same way we've been doing the two halves of the garment. You can copy items that you want exact on both sides, and then just maneuver that into place to give yourself the back of the garment. That's looking good. The last thing I want to add, I say that, but I see I'm not touching the top, which I need to do. I'm going to move that up. Bam. Okay. Last thing I want to do is I want to put a seam all the way down the back of this dress because I'm just going to say that this design has a full back neck to hem seam. And it looks like Illustrator's cooperating and letting me do that. If you hold Shift, Illustrator will always do either a 90, a 45, or a horizontal line. Rather than anywhere, if I hold Shift for my second point, it automatically goes right to a perfect vertical, which is what I want. That's looking good. I'm going to disengage my pen. All of the princess lines are just random lines that are on top of your drawing. They will not attach to the original shape, and they will not have fills on them, okay? Then I'm going to select the garment, and I'm going to give it a white fill because this is a technical. Everything's looking good. I'm going to marquee, right-click group. Then I'm going to put one in front of the other. The front should be on top. So again, I'm going to arrange, bring to front. And once everything's grouped, it's really easy to move things around. Once you get into designing entire collections, it'll be really handy to have things grouped. And if you're doing collection boards, something like this, you could even select both of them and group them, right? Because then you can move them around together. Because for this one, I want to make it larger on my page. So I'm going to get rid of my croquis layer. If I can find my layers. There we go. Croquis layer 1, delete. Make sure that you delete your croquis when you're done, because even if you make the layer invisible, it will still print in the PDF, and you don't want that. You do want to make sure that your garment fits nice and large on the page. Use that space nicely. And last thing we're going to do, oops, always hold shift when you're sizing things up and down. Otherwise, you will distort your drawing, which you don't want. Sometimes I take my finger off the shift too early, and it ends up distorting my drawing, which I don't want. So the last part is you want to grab that crosshair and text, Control C, and then Control F into your into your document, and then name it and style number it. And this is the basic shift dress. And put your season on there. And look how if it's fitting well on the page. This one, I think I could make a little bit larger. And again, always hold shift when you're resizing. There we go. And then once you've got something you really like, you can select everything and put it into the document that you were creating for project 2, which will be coming in after reading week. Okay, so that is our demo on how to do a basic dress technical, front, back, gray out areas that you can see on the back that you would see if it's folded from the front. Okay.